So today I'm going to do a little bit different of a video, going to cover multiple gaming news stories, just so much going down during this lead up to E3, and a lot of this stuff I want to more so touch on rather than make a full-blown video about it. So let's just get into it. We'll start with probably the most prominent one. As most of you are probably already aware, yesterday Bethesda started a live stream of basically just a TV screen saying please stand by, and there's also a Vault Boy bobblehead in the foreground. They quickly racked up over 100,000 viewers that anxiously anticipated a possible reveal. But aside from some random shenanigans, nothing happened. That is until this morning when they dropped a teaser for, shocker, a new Fallout game titled Fallout 76. And with the game having such an obscure title, it's led to much discussion already over just what sort of game this will be. Clearly, it's not Fallout 5, so is it a spin-off of sorts in the vein of Fallout New Vegas? Is it something totally different? Is it a Soldier 76 origin story? There are tons of possibilities here, and the digging into this is already underway. Jason Schreier over at Kotaku has said fans shouldn't expect a single-player only game here, so it will apparently have some sort of online element. Doesn't mean a battle royale, guys. That's the first thing I saw everyone jump on. Also, it doesn't mean it's not, or that it won't have a mode like that, but let's not crucify a multiplayer component without knowing what it is yet. There are also Reddit and 4chan posts, some dating back a ways, suggesting that this game will focus heavily on a base building aspect. One even saying it will be a sort of Rust clone. If you're not aware, Rust is a survival game with base building elements. As well as online, you start with pretty much nothing, have to gather materials and build up your base while defending it and yourself from other players as well as AI threats in the game. I could very well see something akin to this taking place in the Fallout universe. One of the prime aspects Bethesda was hyping with Fallout 4 was the building customization. So I could see them expanding on that for this type of game. This could also be a separate mode. Remember, with these big names, some of the stuff could just be supplemental. But from what I'm hearing so far, some sort of multiplayer aspect is about all I would firmly bet on. Also, I'd say this game is probably a prime candidate to be released relatively soon, similar to what they did with Fallout 4. Fallout 4 got its big blowout at E3 and then released that following holiday. I think there's a good chance we could see this game this year as well. But let's move on to another wasteland, shall we? Walmart. Pretty much the MVP of ruining this year's E3, I'd say. Either they just don't give a damn or someone has it out for these companies. Like, the amount of leaks they've been dropping almost makes it feel like someone is doing this on purpose. And they recently leaked a couple more games. One such game was Team Sonic Racing, which Sega has since dropped an official trailer for. Doesn't really show gameplay, but it looks like there may be some added focus on those graphics. They do some car porn shots reminiscent of games like Forza and Gran Turismo, so perhaps their vehicles are going to look really nice and slick. There's even some fine details on both Sonic and Shadow's gloves. So yeah, maybe some emphasis on making this thing really pretty. Personally, I really enjoyed All-Star Racing Transformed. I feel like it was a pretty underrated racing game. Gets overshadowed, I think, by stuff like Mario Kart, but it's held its own in my opinion. But with the possibility of Nintendo doing that Star Fox racing game, though, this could be looking at some stiff competition. The game is set to launch this winter, so we probably won't have to wait long to find out more about it. And apparently, these fools weren't done. I guess they also listed a Perfect Dark game for, of course, Xbox One. This would be a big one for me. Perfect Dark was my jam on the N64, way more than GoldenEye was, honestly. I know GoldenEye is the one everyone looks back to with the fondness, but I think Perfect Dark basically just took everything from GoldenEye and made it better all around. And we haven't seen Joanna Dark since Perfect Dark Zero, a launch game for the 360 that was, let's just say, less than stellar. I've been saying it a lot. Part of Microsoft's turnaround needs to include using all these long dormant rare IPs. Just doesn't make sense to do nothing with them when so many are clamoring for them. And I know there's always people in the comments like, oh, no one even cares about these games anymore, they're too old. In fact, you know what? I'm going to throw in another story. You're going to get some bonus news A little extra to take home with you. Atari, who hasn't been relevant in what? A couple decades? Has been trying to get this Atari VCS console off the ground. Been running into some trouble, but they're taking pre-orders on Indiegogo starting today. They say the console will be out in 2019. They are trying to sort of do a modern thing with this system, but most of what they've shown is older Atari games. Some reimaginings, even though they're touting these other features the console is going to have, these other more modern games it's going to be able to play, the focus has been on their bread and butter. So obviously, Atari is way older, so this thing must just be performing horribly. Well, it's closing in on $2 million after being up for a couple hours. And someone will be like, oh, well, it's only a few thousand actual sales. Yeah, a few thousand people within a few hours, don't forget, willing to pay $300 for asteroids. Yeah, why don't all of you who think this way about, oh, the things are too old, no one cares, why don't you call the Atari execs and inform them that they should take this down because no one wants it, it's too old, it's irrelevant. Never, especially in video games, never underestimate the power of nostalgia, and like I said, with the rare IPs, if you're not familiar with them, then they're just new to you. Is that so horrible? But anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Just wanted to run down some of the news of the day. Let me know what you guys think of this stuff in the comments. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.